Hey everyone, welcome to Do It While You're Young. I'm Brett, and today we're talking with Chief Stewardess Claire Bogues from Blue Nation. Claire runs a Superyacht Crew Training business that helps people like you prepare to work on board one of over 4,500 superyachts in the world. Claire is ideally suited to her role, having a double major in international management and marketing, plus 8 years experience in the superyacht industry, including several spent crewing in the Mediterranean, Caribbean, and the US. Here's what you're going to get out of watching the interview. You'll learn how to get started as a superyacht steward or stewardess. You'll hear what type of experience you need and what background and training can set you apart in this competitive industry. And you'll hear the how and why in Claire starting this business and how you can follow her lead. Now, let's get started with Claire. I just want to start by welcoming you, Claire, to the Do It While You're Young Work and Travel series. So thanks so much for joining us. I want to start by asking you, what do you do as Chief Stewardess for this superyacht group that you work for?
So I work for a company now called Blue Nation, which I started myself after spending about 6.5 years working on super yachts around the world. We started it to help others get into that career. And we specialize in training for interior crew, so the high-end hospitality standards that are needed to work on a super yacht.
Okay. And take me a little bit back before you started Blue Nation, and how did you get into this? What was the catalyst?
Well, I'm a New Zealander, and here we're very lucky in that we have a lot of opportunities where we can work abroad and gain working visas for various countries. The main one is the UK, and so I started doing a 2-year, like a working holiday program, which saw me end up in Edinburgh in the United Kingdom. So I worked there for a couple of years, but that sort of started the travel bug, and then I was looking to see what other opportunities there were out there for me where I could continue to travel and see the world while earning money, because I've never actually really been a great saver of money. So, you know, saving and then traveling for a period has never been an option for me. So I was, what can I do as a career to keep me sort of traveling so I can see more? Well, that's how I fell into it. And because I guess I grew up close to the ocean, and I do enjoy the sea, the super yachts were something that were of interest to me. So I pursued it and found out what I could about it from a few friends, and it got basically that started the ball rolling there in that direction.
Sure. And these friends of yours, they were already working on super yachts, or you guys were looking at this opportunity together? Take me through that.
Yeah, I had a couple of friends that had just started the same thing. They'd been in the UK and they'd managed to get a job done and be on a boat that was in Spain, traveling around the Balearic Islands. And their boat had been to America and back. So they'd, traveled across the Atlantic. And so I was like, that sounds amazing. Like, how can I get into that? So they gave me a little bit of help and guidance, and I registered. There are actually crew agents out there that can help you, and I registered with some of these agents, and a job came up that I interviewed for, and then I was away.
Wow, outstanding. And so you were really just started. I don't know if you had left college or what your life situation was, but you decided that you wanted a job that allowed you plenty of time to travel. What was it about the superyacht thing that really kind of caught your eye versus any of the other opportunities out there? Maybe working for a corporation that allowed you to travel quite a bit internationally. What was it really about the superyacht thing that really caught your attention?
Well, I mean, I guess the freedom, you are outdoors and you're outside and you're visiting, the most beautiful places in the world all the time. It's a service role for everyone on board. So you have to, like meeting people and interacting, and you've got to have a good sort of work ethic where you, just want to do a really good job for people, because, it is a service role, and you end up being frontline staff on these on these yachts. But I mean, I'd grown up with doing a bit of water skiing. I've done summer camps in the US, and the sort of that outdoor lifestyle was a real appeal to me. So and it sort of fitted. I'd done some waitressing while I was at university, and other careers, and I had actually done a little bit of sailing too, but and my parents have a boat, but that helped me. But there are a lot of people that go into the industry that obviously don't have quite that connection with the water. Maybe they come into it more from a hospitality angle. They really, like fine wine and food, or they're a chef, or some of the deck crew. It's it's a real career for them, because they have to have a lot of qualifications. And but yeah, it's just the outdoor appeal, and yeah, it's just, you're with nature, it's fun, you're free, and you seeing beautiful things all the time.
Sure. And what is your favorite, if you had to pick one thing that you love most about working on a super yacht, what would that be?
Oh, the days off.
Yeah. And are those frequent?
Oh, that varies.
Okay.
But yeah, you get, if you work so hard, sometimes you could work really, really long hours to make the trips just so magical for the yacht owners. I mean, the whole goal is to just make it completely special. I mean, if you are a millionaire and you own a super yacht, then when you step onto that yacht, you want it to be the best holiday. I mean, it's the biggest investment in a billionaire or a millionaire's sort of holiday type vacation arrangement. So when they step on, they want everything to be magical. So as crew, you work really hard, and that is the number one focus, but it's very tiring. So the moment they leave, you're like, oh wow, I'm so exhausted, and you get a day off, and you could be in one of the most beautiful places in the world that normal people like us can't afford to visit and holiday in a normal situation. And you're right there amongst it. There can be celebrities or just anyone in these places. So but yeah, the days off, and you can explore the new cultures and try new food, and that's probably the best thing.
Sure.
Is you get to a new place, you're trying new things and seeing everything. So
and when you come into port and your guests jump off the boat and they go on, you stay there, you stay living on the vessel while you're in port? Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So a super yacht career is very much like a normal job. You have a 12-month employment contract, it's viewed with a long-term employment in mind. There are seasonal positions that may be 6 months, like a summer or a winter, but generally it's a normal job. So you live on the boat and you maintain the boat to the standard that the owner likes 24/7, so that you're basically on call. They can come and onto the boat at any time, and when they step on the boat should be looking immaculate. And so whether that's you'll be having a few days off, you may have a few weeks off. I mean, I've heard of friends who have worked on yachts where the owner never even visited the boat in 18 months.
Wow.
But that's not normal. Yeah. But you're there whether the owner's there or not, and you're working. Yeah.
Okay. And tell me a little bit about the experience that is required for folks who want to pursue this as a career.
Right. Well, there's sort of two sides of the crew. So there's, to be really general, there's exterior crew and interior crew, and it's quite different career path for both. The exterior crew is more regulated, so they need various seamanship type qualifications to get them, just get their sort of foot in the door. So, and the interior crew is less regulated, though proper training is recommended, and this may be something that changes in the future, but it's not compulsory. But what all crew need to have is they need to do one basic course before they start, which is a safety course. And I don't want to say the wrong thing here, but it's a standards in watchkeeping and firefighting, and you it's called the STCW 95, and it's basically a 5 or 7 day course in firefighting, life rafts, the first aid, the real sort of safety things that you need to get on board, and that's sort of like the main compulsory thing before you start that everybody does, and being fit and healthy and having a medical certificate, that sort of thing as well. And then it all varies depending on which path you take. But for interior crew, we all need to sort of have, some kind of service experience, maybe a barista certificate for, making coffees, because the espressos and everything are getting so popular now. You need maybe a food safety certificate, so that you're not going to give anyone food poisoning with anything that you're preparing, and you're, storing everything okay on board. And then, certificates in wine and cocktails and all that are advantageous. But none of it's compulsory. But if you're going to get into the industry, then having those things will give you a real step above what everybody else has, because it can be quite competitive to get onto the yachts when you first start out. So, if you're well prepared, then all those things help. And there are nanny qualifications that could be advantageous. If you're into health and do massage, then that can be good, because, every millionaire wants a massage at 4 o'clock.
Daily, right? Sometimes twice a day.
Yeah, so, there's all types of different things, skills, that can fit into different yachts. But, there's quite a lot involved. But, you get the right person with the right skills and you're away.
So it sounds to me like, someone who's watching this has a job that they're not happy where they're at. They could really just kind of pick up and leave and go off and take one of these 5 to 7 day training courses. You mentioned that you went through, when you were first getting into this, you went through, sort of like a crew finder group. But what would be the immediate first and second steps for someone that really wanted to pursue this as a career?
Well, the first thing that you really need to do, because it is quite a different career, is to do your research. And there are a lot of websites online about super yacht careers and finding jobs that can help you. So get online, do your research, start to prepare a CV for this, and think about the types of skills that you have that might match up to this career. And it might be that you were a water sports instructor at a summer camp, or you used to work in a high-end hotel as a student, so you've already got some really good service experience. You're being a sailing instructor, or you're even trades like carpenters and painters and things, because the boats need so much maintenance. All those kind of skills are really good. So you just sort of, start preparing that CV with what you can, and then you can look at the other bits that you need to get to sort of bring you into line with that. And then once you've sort of got a little CV together, you start putting it out there and getting some advice back on it, on what you might need and what would help you. And there are a number of, I would say hundreds almost, of crew agents out there that deal with super yacht industry. We have them here in New Zealand, Australia. Fort Lauderdale in the USA is a big yacht hub for super yachts and for these agents as well as other parts of the US on the West Coast. There's an agent in Vancouver, and then in the south of France and Mallorca and Palma is a really big hub, and even the UK. They're everywhere. So depending on where you are in the world, there's probably somebody that can help you. We even have, more and more super yachts in the Pacific down here. So, it doesn't really matter where you are, but you should contact the crew agent that's closest to you to start off with. And, they'll give you a lot of advice and help as well to set you on your way. Yeah, and I mean, you can even look at our website at Blue Nation, where there are some blog items about starting out and that sort of thing, and a list of links to other people that you might be able to use to help you find out some more information.
Sure,
But, yeah.
and let's talk about Blue Nation and where you fit into the mix. Now, you do Superyacht Crew Training. So
Yes.
do you do that 5 to 7 day safety and firefighting course? Is that something that you do, or where do you specialize?
No, so that course is run worldwide by different training establishments, and we unfortunately don't run that because, for one, the equipment that you need for firefighting is not readily available to everybody. We run our sort of core course is a 5-day Superyacht Stewardess course, and that takes you through the stuff you need to know about the industry, getting your CV right, getting your personal appearance right. We then move into housekeeping, your food service, so different service styles like silver service, wine, and cocktails. So it's a sort of a 5-day crash course for interior yacht crew to get you ready to go and work on a super yacht. And we stay in contact with you all the way after that as well, and monitor how you're doing and give you a bit of advice and make sure that that you've got everything that you need and that you're ready. So we specialize in interior courses. So the deck qualifications for officers and deckhands and bosuns and things, they're usually run by maritime schools. And so we focus more on the interior standards for stewardesses.
Okay. So your position is really that if I wanted to get into Superyacht Crew, I would come to you first. I would take the course, I would work on my CV, and then I would start going out to some of these crew agents and start pitching myself.
Yeah,
Okay.
but you've got you get your get yourself ready and then approach these people, because they also get a lot of people who are not even ready, every day. But you've got to sort of do a bit of work yourself before you speak to the agents. But they're great too. They'll give you a lot of guidance on if your CV's not quite right and things like that. But we work with you to get you to the point where you are going to be a great presentation to that crew agent or a captain. So by the time you've done some training with Blue Nation, you be of a higher standard that you can be out there and have more success in finding that job when you do start.
And I'm sure you've seen a lot of different types of students, different type of people come through your program. What are some of the qualities, some of the character traits that you see make people most successful, most likely to land a position on a super yacht?
Yes, well, it's not for everybody, I must say, and there are a number of things that will make you really good on a super yacht. But one, you have to have a really hospitable disposition. I mean, you need to be able to muck in there and do whatever you are asked of, or whatever's asked of you, and be prepared to work long hours. So you've got to be really hospitable, and don't mind just getting stuck in and giving everything a go. So you need that sort of give it a go attitude. Obviously, you need to be a little bit adventurous because you're going away from your home country. You're traveling for long periods of time. So you have to be that type of person that doesn't need to go home and see your friends and family every other week, because in realistic, you're probably only going to see them once a year. And some people, you're a long way away, and you can't just drop everything and come home. So you've got to be that hardworking nature, adventurous spirit. You've got to be fairly fit and healthy, because there's a lot of running around every day. So it's quite an active lifestyle. You want to have a good sort of level of health. Also, you're running around with trays and boxes, or up and down stairs and things like that. So you have to have a sort of a good physical fitness. But that's sort of really it. I mean, anyone can do it. You've just got to have the right attitude.
Sure. And it sounds like once you take a course like Blue Nation's course, that it's easier to set yourself apart and to differentiate and land a position on a super yacht crew.
There's just thousands of questions and things that you need to know. And yeah, we work with everyone. And also what I see with the students going through the course is that they're very nervous when you first start. It's sort of like, oh, well, I've heard this about the yacht and what happens in this situation and what happens in this situation. And on the first day, everyone's quite sort of timid and nervous, and then we go through stuff, and we go through presentation and the way you deliver and how to deliver, seamless, how to deliver service and not be noticed, because it's so different to a restaurant. You don't ask someone every 5 minutes like, are you okay, because that would, over the course of the weekend on the yacht, that would be really annoying. So just delivering that sort of really comfortable, cool level of service where you're not even sort of noticed, and it's really nice. And so we go through the course and we're teaching all these things, and you can really see the confidence of the students grow. And by the end of the 5 days, they're really excited, and they're all the sort of fear of am I doing the right thing is sort of gone, and they're like, right, I'm ready. Let me at it.
Sure.
Yeah. So that's a really good part of it, and we can see that in the courses.
Definitely. Well, and I'm kind of curious. So let's take it back a step to when you started Blue Nation and really the why you started it, because I like to have these interviews kind of tie in, the entrepreneurial spirit of the people that we interview. How did you decide that Blue Nation, it was something that the market needed, and that you went out and decided to start this training company?
Well, obviously I love what I did, and I would recommend it to anyone. So that's sort of the start. But the one thing is that the standards for interior crew worldwide were being looked at the time. And there was an opportunity here in New Zealand to deliver those new sort of higher standards. I mean, they've looked at, butler training and various other high-end sort of standards and talk to captains about what was needed. And so this was just being under review by training establishments worldwide. So it was a good time to do it. And at the moment, and at that time in New Zealand, there was a real gap in the market. The schools here were focusing on the exterior crew and the career paths for deck officers and that sort of thing, and engineers. And so there was just a real opportunity, and I was like, hey, this would be great. I love the industry so much that I want to see other people do it. I think, it's one of the most exciting careers that a young person could have if they have this opportunity.
Sure. And what do you see some of the folks who have been through your program? You mentioned that you keep in touch with them. They go off and they do maybe 2 or 3, how many every years as a Superyacht crew. What do you see them going off to do? Like what is this kind of a launching pad to a career or a life in travel or business?
Yeah, well, the students, we've had some, great students. They either can look for work here from New Zealand, or a lot of them are already on their way they've chosen a destination in the world and they're going to start from there. So after they finish the course, a lot of them, they jump on a plane and they're off to, the USA or Europe to start looking. And so we keep in touch, and that, the excitement of they're like, oh my God, I've got a job, and then, they're working away on the season, and everyone's so grateful that they did the course. They just usually say, it's made it so much easier. They need less training on the job, and it's just the excitement, and they stay. Most of the students are still working on the yachts because we've only been around for a couple of years, so they haven't gone on and started their own businesses or done anything after their yacht career. They're still on the boat, so we get lots of cool stories like we're here now and that sort of thing. So it's a real sort of feel good thing as well, because they're all out there working away and in different places around the world, and they're all very grateful that they did the training.
Sure.
Because it has given them that sort of step into the industry quite quickly. And I guess it just means you're not looking for work over there, going through your savings, because you'll find a job faster with some training.
Certainly. And you mentioned some of these stories. If you had to pick one story that you just really love of maybe one of your students or one of your experiences on the super yacht. Tell that story to us.
Oh, goodness. I mean, there are a lot of stories when you start working on these things, because you'll never be, you'll always be surprised by what one of your bosses does, or the captain, or where you end up, or, the nature and wildlife that you might see. People end up in Alaska on these super yachts, and I don't know. I guess the one thing that probably happened to me was that in Saint-Tropez one season, I was fortunate enough to be working on the super yacht that did Pamela Anderson's wedding to Kid Rock. And so that was a pretty interesting time.
Nice.
Very high-profile event, and it was really fun to be involved with that.
Very cool. Good. Well, tying things up here, tell us what's the easiest way to connect with you, to get in touch, and if anyone has questions, how can they ask those?
The easiest way is to visit our website. So that is www.bluenationcrew.co.nz. Or they can link in on Facebook and send us a message. I'm happy to give a bit of advice or put them in contact with someone wherever in the world that can maybe help them, whether they're, if you're in New Zealand, that's great. If you're not, I can put you in touch with another training school or a crew agent that can give you some advice. So, just visit the website.
Terrific. Well, we'll be sure to include those in the show notes. And just want to say thanks for joining us. This has been really informative. I'm sure a lot of people will get a lot of this interview.
Great. Well, thanks, Brett. I really appreciate being involved, and I love what you guys do. So, all the best.
Our pleasure. Keep in touch.
Great. Thank you.
Take care.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. Before you go, please take 30 seconds to share this video with family and friends. It's as easy as clicking one of the share buttons below. Finally, are you interested in seeing us interview an entrepreneur, travel professional, or someone else you think would make for a great interview? Leave a comment below and suggest an interview, or simply leave a comment telling us how we're doing.